And wow, somebody climbed in on my thing. Anyway, I'll see you when I see you. And so it is. So let's do a 3-minute meditation. I don't know why I have this thing facing me. It's a message. So let's hope you can hear me. So let's do 3 minutes meditation and go with love inside and just be still. Take a big deep breath in for the count of 4 and release it for the count of 8. Ready? 2, 3, 4, and out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more of those. In, out. It's always nice having a nice quiet time. So I leave you today with a statement made by Jim Rohn, who was an entrepreneur and a life coach. Let others lead small lives, but not you. Let others argue over small things, but not you. Let others cry over small hurts, but not you. Let others leave their fortune in someone else's hands, but not you. So he has some wonderful statements online, and he's, if you want to check them out, they're just wonderful life, science of mind kind of things. So nice being with you today. Namaste. And now we have Lee with his music.
Okay, this is a song I wrote in 1997, but I never played it publicly for all those years. Anyway, it's called Take Time. You've got to take time to love another. Treat each one like he was your brother. To watch the sunset while it's still around, and you should dust off your smile and wear it where the whole wide world can share it. Do something cheerful no one likes. A frown, it'll get you down, down, down. If you don't take time, you know that love is anywhere you make it. When you see the chance to take it, take time to take a hold and be a friend, for life is clouds of rain and rays of sunshine. But you gotta help it sometime, or the sunshine won't get through. If you don't take time, time, if you don't take time.
Thank you, Lee. That was great. I love it. That's awesome. I so appreciate you showing up and singing birthday songs once a month, just as I really appreciate Alex leading us in prayer and meditation every Sunday. We are so fortunate to have you, and we are fortunate to have everyone here today, and I'm excited about that. So today it's the talk is the soul's call. And what we're going to do is I wanted to just share with you some personal ideas of mine, I guess, or thoughts. And so, like, one of the things I like about our movement, that it's considered more spiritual than religious. I think of religious maybe unfairly as being one of dogma and rituals. And spiritual, I think of like Ernest Holmes used to talk about, open at the top. I think more spiritual gives us a chance to really explore things. And the spiritual journey that I know is one of constant evolution and transformation. And I know that for you too, that your journey is not static. It is ever evolving. And so one of my favorite sayings is, it's not important what happens to you in life, it's how you respond to what happens to you in life. And that is what this talk is about today, this message. It's a soul's call, because it is our connection to the soul that allows us to look at what is before us, what is happening to us in life, and know the truth of who we truly are, that we are one with the divine. It is through this connection of the soul. And I wanted to share to you too is I work on my talk a couple of days before Sunday, and I might even rehearse it and figure out what sounds right and continuity. But then I'm always open to changes. And so this morning on my own spiritual practice, which is usually some gratitude journal and then spiritual reading, and I was reading the daily guide, June's daily guide for this month in the Science of Mind magazine. They were written by Reverend Dr. Christian Sorensen down in the spiritual director in Seaside, which is just north of San Diego. And I just thought, wow, what he was writing today seemed to really tap into my message. And so I want to maybe bookend it. And what he reminded us in it's called the Gallery of Thought in today's daily guide. He said, quoting Ernest Holmes, Ernest Holmes wrote in Thoughts Are Things, which is really important for us. Thoughts are things, but that's the title of a book. And Ernest Holmes said, there is a divine spark at the center of your being, but you need to recognize this, believe it, and act upon your belief. So what I think has really, really spoke to me is that you need to believe it's true. You need to actually recognize it and then act upon that belief that you know it's true. And you know, that ties into our science of mind point of view, which is life itself is the perfect outpicturing of wholeness, and it goes far beyond which we can observe and experience. And this is also the truth of each of us. There is much more to us than our physical bodies. That part that I'm speaking of is that so much more is our connection to the divine, to our soul connection. Michael Singer, who wrote The Untethered Soul, amongst many other books, I really love him. I've taken a Sounds True course through him, but he said, to obtain true inner freedom, you must be able to objectively watch your problems instead of being lost in them. Do you get that? Being able to watch, to observe your problems, but don't get lost in them. You have to break that habit, he said, of thinking that the solution to your problems is to rearrange things outside. The only permanent solution is to go inside and let go of that part of you that seems to have so many problems with reality. These are wise words to follow, I think, is that we can remember to go inside and let go of that part of us that was fixated on so many problems. So this month of June, it starts with a regrounding. The month's theme, and I chose the same theme for the talk, is the soul's call, because it's a reminder for us to get regrounded and coming back into alignment with our soul. So we recognize that inner power and that presence that is our true nature, and it's inseparable from the divine. That means we are inseparable from the divine. It is when our soul is properly seated in our consciousness and our awareness that we realize we have dominion over our lives. That means we have influence and control over our lives. It is from being in that right relationship with our soul that all good flows forth. And it is our good in our life that is our birthright. Ernest Holmes wrote, we believe in the eternality, the immortality, and the continuity of the individual soul forever and ever expanding. Do you anchor yourself in that thought? Do you believe that we have that eternality, that immortality, and the continuity of the individual soul? He's speaking to us, our soul. So are you on board with that? Do you believe it? Can you embody it? There was a book that I've ordered called The 5 Stages of the Soul. And I did it. It's written by Harry Moody and David Carroll. And they write that in my research into human spiritual development, I've come to identify 5 stages of the soul. Each one of these stages leads naturally to the next, and at the same time is a logical extension of the one that comes before. Taken as the group, the 5 stages comprise the complete cycle of the spiritual quest. And so it's important that the first of the 5 stages is what this message is really about today. It's the call. And then the next part is the search. And I'm going to be talking about that next week. It's the search many of us are on. We're called seekers. And then the third one is, you might be more familiar, which is the struggle. And then the fourth is the breakthrough. I love the breakthrough. When I have that feeling of the breakthrough. It's kind of like the fever breaks, the dam breaks. Something happens that it's the aha moment. And I let go of the struggle. And then it's the return. It could almost be called the hero's journey, couldn't it? So my message is really about the call and our answer to it. So the question is, are you listening? Are you listening to your soul? And are you ready? Are you ready to answer? So one way is to open up our spiritual ears to hear the call, is to shift our center of being away from that external world towards the inner life that we feel inside, where our soul is our connection. Our soul has been with us since our first encounter with this life on earth, and it will continue to evolve with us. Our soul will call us into alignment when we are out of alignment with our highest good. Whatever does not fit that, it will urge us to discard it. Carl Jung said, who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens. The soul call is this deeply intimate, challenging, and powerful work we are invited to do. So my question is, are you listening? Do you hear your soul's call? And more importantly, are you answering? From a science of mind point of view, there is this divine urge, a purposefulness of spirit that resides within each of us at all times. One might call it our soul. Our soul has the ability to know what it wishes to express and the power to express it. And as we ground ourselves in this awareness of our unity with spirit, and we recognize that limitless power within, our soul awakens to its full potential and becomes an outward reflection of spirit, which is God, life itself. So answering the call of our soul is keeping with our centers for spiritual living, our global vision. And it relates to today's message because it states we envision humanity awakening to its spiritual magnificence and discovering the creative power of thought, a world where every person discovers his or her own power, personal power, and the ability to create an individual life that works within a world that works for everyone. And it's also in keeping with our science of mind principles of life is constantly evolving. There never was a mistake made. There are no mistakes being made, and there never will be. That's a hard one to wrap your heads around sometimes, especially for those of us who spend our time looking for mistakes. So let it go. There never was a mistake made. And then another science of mind principle is the law of growth, and everything is good or leading to good. So I don't know whether you believe you have a soul or not, and actually it doesn't matter. Please don't get hung up on the word choice. The question is, do you believe that you have that essence and energy that is beyond your physical understanding that exists within you? Whatever life force that you have that you identify with, that is more than your body. That is always present. That is what I'm choosing to call the soul for this message today. So I invite you to let go of your preconceived notions that may turn you off and open up the ears of your heart to listen to this message, as you just might glean something that speaks to you at a place that you haven't touched recently. Even if it's a journey, are you ready to take it with me? Mark Nepo, some of you know, he's a poet and spiritual author. He wrote one of the books he wrote is the Book of Awakening. And he asked my question that I would ask of you, but he writes it so eloquently. Let me use his words. He said, what does it mean to follow our intuition? What kind of listening are we asked to engage in order to sense what is calling and whether we should follow? So I'm asking you these questions. When you are facing tough decisions, are you asking those questions of your soul to follow your intuition? And how are we listening? So what is that soul, or what do we mean by the soul? And there's many definitions and perspective of what the soul is and what it represents. About a year ago, I shared with some of you the responses Oprah received when she asked 13 of today's top spiritual experts to define the soul in a clip from her special, the Soul to Soul episode of Super Soul Sunday. Now, I'm not going to share all 13, so don't go to sleep on me yet. I'm only going to pick about 5 because I'm picking up the 5 that kind of resonate with me. You can listen to the Super Soul Sunday and listen to the 13 and pick the ones that resonate with you. But when Oprah asked, what is the soul? Deepak Chopra said, the soul is the core of our being. It is eternal. It doesn't exist in space or time. It is a field of infinite possibilities, infinite creativity. It's your eternal reference point with which you should always be in touch. Eckhart Tolle, the soul is your innermost being, that presence that you are beyond form, the consciousness that you are beyond form, that is the soul. And Wayne Dwyer wrote, the soul is the birthless, deathless, changeless part of us. The soul is infinite, so there is no in or out of it. It is everywhere. There is no place that it is not. And Gene Houston wrote, I believe that the soul is the essence of who and what we are. So you may have your own beliefs and definitions, and maybe it is in alignment with some of those that I mentioned, and they all seem to remind us of our essence. The core of our being is one with the creator of all that is, which I usually call God, but it's known by many names, and pick the name that resonates with you. So Mark Nepo also encourages us to listen to your heart. He says, in real ways, we are invited each day to slow down and listen. But why listen at all? Because listening stitches the world together. Because listening is the doorway to everything that matters. It enlivens the heart, the way breathing enlivens the lungs. We listen to awaken our heart. We do this to stay alive and vital. So I like his concept of the 3 friends. He says, our friendship with everything larger than us opens us to the wisdom of source. Our friendship with experience opens us up to the wisdom of life on earth. This is the work of being human. And our friendship with each other opens us up to the wisdom of care. This is the work of love. These are the 3 friends we need to stay connected to if we have any hope to living an awakened life. So I also came across an interesting article on the internet by Juliana J. 8 signs the soul is calling you. And I just thought that she kind of had it tied in here, and I wanted to share those with you briefly and see if any of those resonate with you. We're never taught to listen to our souls, she writes. In fact, we are often taught to ignore it, to build lives around anything but listening to our soul. Our mind and our ego take center stage as we build our lives and around an agenda that society, our friends, or our family feels matters. The soul keeps whispering, but since we have no understanding of how to tune in to listen to its wisdom and guidance, we regularly fail to hear the whispers it gives us daily. She said, that's the intuitive voice that I'm speaking about. That intuitive voice is the voice of the divine speaking to us, that our soul is trying to give us guidance out. Howard Thurman wrote, the ability to know what is the right thing to do in a given circumstance is a sheer gift of God. So don't deny this gift of God. Open up your hearts, open up your minds, open up your souls. Receive this. It is a gift of God. And Julianne reminds us that the truth is that the soul will always choose the way. If you listen to the hunches, inner voices, and shoulder taps, you will realize that the soul's path is indeed the path of least resistance, and it will allow you to explore your deepest desire to find joy. It'll speak to your gut instinct. It will repeatedly present itself in signs and symbols and through conversations and a deep yearning to leave your legacy on the world as you pass through it. So I just will briefly share these 8 signs, and you can go to that, check it out, the 8 signs your soul is calling you and on the website, and you can read more detail. But her 8 points are, the first one, you have a constant feeling that there's more to explore and that you are playing small and giving your power away. I've said that to so many times. Stop playing small. You are one with the divine creator of all that there is. Think how magnificent that is. And our second one is, you notice a pattern to the struggles you are facing in life. Do you notice that things keep reappearing? And you say, my God, I thought I fixed that. I thought I did that. It's up because your soul is calling for a change. And then the third point she has is, you feel a calling to express your hidden gifts in some way. You have that passion for something that excites you, but it feels so scary to make room in your life for it. We have to feel the fear and do it anyway, because fear is an acronym you've heard me say before. Fear is forgetting everything is all right. So your soul, the fourth point is, your soul wishes to do good in the world. Think about that. Be a positive impact. Her fifth one is, you may be receiving messages from others that you don't understand, but feel deeply moved to share regardless of looking silly, as you feel you need to pass on the message in the hope to help another person. Haven't you noticed that before? Sometimes somebody may come up to you, or you may go up to somebody and say, I don't know why, but I had the strangest urge to tell you this. And you share this message. That is your soul communicating with another soul. And then you have another point is, you have a burning desire to create something unique or to deliver your story to bring hope to others. And I like her seventh point. You're finding your tribe, because that's how I think about our church. The connections are being made with strangers who are in the same wavelength. That's how I felt when I walked into my first religious science church. Is that I thought, oh my God, I'm not this weird duck out there thinking all these strange thoughts. There are these same people who are on the same wavelength. And then we know that part of our tribe is these people are like-minded and they share our vision of the world. And then our eighth point is, there is a newfound courage within to dive deeper into this self-awareness, to find hidden meanings in the universe. So she encourages us with all that to take the next step. The truth is, your soul is calling you to listen, to take time for stillness, be in the stillness, be in the moment. And as Alex mentioned earlier, that it feels good to be in the stillness. And we do that sometimes by stopping our busyness and taking a breath, taking that breath in. And whether we do it on the counts in and the counts out, but what it is it slows us down. It brings our focus. So notice what you observe during those periods of time, and that connection that to our true essence that is at that very moment, in the present moment, because you're not in the past and you're not in the future, you're right here, right now. Mark Nepo, I want to start wrapping this up. And he says, to honor God means that we vow to keep all that we become aware of in view, that we will not pretend to be ignorant of things we know to be true or holy. And if we forget or get distracted or derailed, we will stay devoted to retrieving the ever-present sense of the sacred. So I want to end this with this bookend that I talked about in the daily guide. So what Kristen reminds us of is that Holmes, that is in Ernest Holmes, our founder, encourage us to feel as though we are on a mission that glorifies the soul. We honor the soul each time we visit thoughts that take us beyond appearances, thoughts painted with vibrant, infinite good, thoughts that partner with our intuition and our uniqueness, and that trust our renewable abilities to bring contributions to the world. Namaste, and thank you. So let's pray. I know that there is this one life. It is God's life, and I connect to that with my soul. I am knowing that there is this one presence that is a presence in me and a presence in each and every one of us in everything. There is nowhere that God is not. So as I know this is absolutely the truth, I know that we take time this day to take a breath and to listen to the divine presence within us that is speaking to us clearly, waiting for our attention, and knowing that sometimes that attention may be a loss, it may be a sickness, it may be many, many things that stop us in our tracks, that cause us to stop and be in the silence, be in the moment of reflection. And that is in the stillness, we know God. So I know that each and every person that is suffering any type of distress, I know the perfect health and wholeness right here, right now. I know that for Barbara, she is moving in and through with the wisdom of the ages at her disposal, and that Don has the peace of knowing that it is so. And I know for other people that may be suffering, that we extend our compassion and our prayers, knowing their healing is at hand. And we call it good. And I know this truth for each and every person here today, that as we listen to our soul, we find our way to joy and love. And so it is. So I want to share an affirmation today. And my affirmation is, listen with your heart, your soul is calling. So I would like you to remember this the next time you're experiencing any kind of difficulty. Listen with your heart, your soul is calling. So now what I would like to do is make a few announcements and screen share. And we will have a time. Alex is having a, I'm hoping, I see. So Alex has got a group that is meeting to clean up the church and get it ready for opening. Our team for reopening is meeting on the 18th of June, which is right after California governor is opening up the California. And we're going to evaluate everything again in real time. But in the meantime, Alex has got this group that of many people who have been helping. You can read all their names in the constant contact. And she is next Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday from 2 to 4. She will be at the church. And so stop by and give her a hand. And I will also, before I open it, we're going to have a congregational song after these announcements. How could I forget? I will bring it up because Leah is going to lead us in all that. And we'll unmute everybody. But before you do, I'm going to encourage you to continue to make your contributions to the, you can use our webpage, First Church of Vallejo, and use online giving of PayPal, or you can write a check to the First Church of Religious Science at 229 Springs Road, Vallejo, California. And now, Alex, we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pull up the screen. I'm gonna change it to gallery view for everybody. And Lee, let me bring up the screen share, and everybody unmute yourselves, because Lee is gonna sing us, join us in the congregational song. Whoops. Why did that? Sorry. That wasn't the one you were supposed to have. Da, 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 da. Oh. It helps if I pick up the right one. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Good. Is everybody unmute yourselves? Ask to unmute, and Julie, unmute. There you go. All right. Go ahead, Lee. You're the boss.
How could anyone
Ever tell you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone
ever
tell
tell
you
you
you were less than
whole?
How
How
could anyone fail
fail to
to
notice
notice
that
that
your
your
loving
loving
is
is
a
a
miracle?
miracle?
How
How
deeply
deeply
you're
you're
connected
connected to
to
my
my
soul. How
could
could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail
to
to
notice
notice
that
that your
your love
loving is a
a
miracle?
miracle?
How deeply you're
you're
connected to
to
my
my
soul.
How
deeply you're connected to my soul.
All right, everybody did wonderful. I'm
was
going to
pretty
go
good.
stop the Facebook, and I'm going to then stop the recording, and everybody's already